All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahaha Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the I can teach about the mind wild mouth. That's in sincerity and truth. It's a Great Millstone Dallas branch. I'm Yatazak. I got the brother Adna here with me. And the Lord allowed us another opportunity to continue the series that we on in the book of Judges. We have reached chapter 12. And
hmm
chapter 12 is a very short chapter. And we might get into chapter 13, which is the introduction to Samson. So, um, with chapter 12 being so short and chapter 13, we're going to try to combine these chapters through the Spirit. You know what I'm saying? Lord willing to be edifying because it's going through a short history on a couple other judges. But then everybody knows Samson. Samson is a universal character. Everybody knows Samson that knows anything about the Bible. So it's going
hmm
to go into the last couple of judges after Jephthah and his son. Well, no, Gideon and then Jephthah was the last two. You know, it mentions a couple of others with short range. Doesn't give us a whole lot of information, but then it's going to go into the 13th, the 12th. Was it 12th chapter?
Yeah, we're in chapter 12, and then chapter 13 is Samson.
Right. So chapter 12 and chapter 13 is going to get briefly into a couple other judges, but then it's going to be the introduction to Samson. So Lord willing, we'll be able to make this thing edifying through the Spirit, and then just go from there.
Gone. All right, so let's go to Judges chapter 12 and continue on in verse 1. All right, this is Judges 12 and 1. By the way, chapter 11, all right, Jephthah here was pretty much, his story was laid out, right? And then, the Lord allowed him to triumph, and pretty much win the war, you know what I'm saying? Because he had a war against the Ammonites, and basically he won that war, and he subdued, all the heathen that was in that area, right? And then, we know that he made that vow to the Most High, of sacrificing whatever comes out of his door to meet him, and his daughter came out of the door to meet him, and he ended up having to, to sacrifice his own daughter. You know what I'm saying? So um, that was a custom in Israel to weep and mourn for that for Jephthah's daughter, 4 days a year, right? And so following those events, in verse 1 in chapter 12, it says, "And the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and went northward and said unto Jephthah, Wherefore passest thou over to fight against the children of Ammon, and didst not call us to go with thee? We will burn thy house upon thee with fire." And basically, this is the same thing that Ephraim did, okay, with Gideon, okay, because basically they were upset that the Lord. Basically, I was upset the Lord. It wasn't really upsetting with Gideon, because Gideon was just following the Lord's commands. You know what I'm saying? Gideon had the 300 men, you know what I'm saying? And the Lord, allowed Israel to be delivered with that small number of men. And Ephraim was like, well, damn, hold on. Y'all were supposed to call us to the battle. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, certain tribes at this time, certain tribes of Israel were like, oh, well, that doesn't pertain to me. That's another tribe. Whenever their brothers was in captivity or whenever they were getting oppressed, and other tribes, they kind of banded together, or maybe if they was oppressed together, they would work together. But Ephraim took the stance of, okay, if y'all didn't check in with us, you know, and y'all went down to battle without us, then you basically trying to lead Israel, you trying to lead insurrection. You know what I'm saying? You trying to usurp authority, right? So they were like, shit, we're gonna kill you. And that's basically what the Ephraimites were saying to Jephthah, right? And it says in verse 2, and Jephthah said unto them, I and my people were at great strife with the children of Ammon, because remember, I'm gonna make reference to the map again. You can see Gilead, which is a range. I'm zoomed in here. It's like a range of land on the east side of the Jordan River, so it's in eastern Israel. that spans through the tribe of Manasseh, the tribe of Gad, and even the tribe of Reuben down here, right? But mostly Manasseh and Gad on the eastern side, because you had eastern side of Manasseh, and the West Manasseh was the western land allotments that on the west side of the Jordan River, right? So, but and then you got Ephraim here in the green. You can see Ephraim was on the west side of the Jordan River, and they actually had a relatively large land allotment as well, where you can see here. So Ephraim was coming over, crossed over the Jordan River and went up, and it was asking Gil, not I'm sorry, was asking Jephthah why they didn't come and ask for Ephraim's help, right, when they fought against the Ammonites. And so this is what Jephthah said to that. It says, I and my people were at great strife with the children of Ammon, and I called you, and and when I called you, ye delivered me not out of their hands. Yeah, so he already had reached out to him, right? In verse 13, in verse 3, it says, and when I saw that ye delivered me not, I put my life in my hands and passed over against the children of Ammon, and the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, delivered them into my hand. Wherefore then are you come up unto me this day to fight against me? You see? So basically, he was trying to figure out, like, why y'all trying to why y'all trying to make war against me? Like, I already reached out. Y'all didn't want to help. That's what Jephthah was saying. So Jephthah had a spirit. He had a righteous spirit on him, man. You know what I'm saying? He had an upright spirit in him. You know what I mean? He had a just spirit in him. He would give people chances, and then if they didn't do what they're supposed to do, then he made decisions. He acted upon that. And scripture that comes to mind is in 1 Samuel chapter 19. Let me get it real quick. 1 Samuel 19. Okay. And says in verse 5. Let me see here. I'll start at verse 4. Okay. It says, and Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he hath not sinned against thee, and because his works have been to thee were very good. For he did put his life in his hand, and slew the Philistine, and the Lord wrought great salvation for all Israel. Because this phrase, he put his life in his hand, stood out because it's the same same saying that's used here in verse 3 in Judges 12:3, when Jephthah said that he put his life in his hand, meaning, well, I mean, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Like, he took matters into his own hands. Like, I guess you could say, yeah, that's another saying that you could say comes from the scriptures. I'm gonna take these matters into my own hands. That's pretty much the same thing as putting your life in your hands, but he's risking his life. You know what I'm saying? He's putting matters in his...
Lean into your own understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and trusting in the Lord with it. You know what I'm saying? Leaning with the understanding that the Lord gave him, because you can try to depend on another dude, even if he's an Israelite. He ain't gonna come through for you as much as you gonna come through for yourself. A man's gonna feed himself before he feeds his friend, or before he feeds his brother. You know what I'm saying? In the world, I'm talking about. So, he was like, shit, I can't. I had to make the decision on my own, because y'all weren't trying to help me. You know what I'm saying? So, this precept here, it kind of reminds me of that, when David put matters in his own hands. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to being the vessel that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai used to bring salvation, because nobody else was willing to step up to the plate to face Goliath one-on-one. King David said, shit, he looked around, he like, shit, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine? He ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? The Lord gonna deliver me out of their hand, out of his Goliath's hand. So it's the same mindset that Jephthah had, right? And so Jephthah was like, why y'all trying to come up against me? The Lord did this. The Lord wrought salvation, right? In verse 4, it says, then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought with Ephraim. obviously because Ephraim wasn't, they weren't trying to be, they weren't trying to be subdued off of that. They pretty much weren't, um, they weren't happy with that response. They said, man, nah, and they wasn't having that. They pretty much, you know, wanted the smoke. You know, they want to smoke with Jephthah and with Gilead. So uh, it says the men of Gilead smote Ephraim because they say, ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. So they pretty much said, and Gilead, by the way, is not a tribe. It's just an area. It's just an area. Like you could say, like in the United States, you got the South, right? The South is not a state. Like, the South can span from Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. You know what I'm saying? You can throw South Carolina in there. It's not an official boundary, but it's known as the South. You know what I'm saying? So you could say like this was just like another regional term. It doesn't specify specifically one specific tribe, right? They were just saying in general, y'all Israelites over here in this part of this part of Israel, y'all. Ephraim was falsely accusing the Gileadites in this area, basically of being fugitives and doing their own thing. So they went to war, Ephraim and the Gileadites, right, which were Israelites that lived in the area known as Gilead.
Which also shows you that for all these people to think, well, Israel should get along just because you Israelites. Like, no, it's in our history to be going back and forth with each other. You see, until the Lord come back, But you go through all the history. You got Israelites today talking about, well, why we can't all just get along? Well, we all Israelites and talking all this stuff, but like it's in our history to go back and forth with each other. And when you go back to the curses, it says that we was gonna go back and forth with each other and be evil toward the brother and all these different things until Shiloh come. You see, until Yahushua crack them clouds, man, Israel gonna be going at it. It is what it is. You see, and it takes an understanding through the spirit to know that that's what it's gonna be. So we're not finna kumbaya with somebody that's talking some crazy shit, man. You either get in line with the scriptures or you can fuck off.
Con.
And it's always been like that.
Yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. So you can see here Gilead was Gad, and then East Manasseh, and then I mean we don't got to go into too deep in the history of why there was land allotments on the eastern side of the Jordan River, but just to be quick with it, basically, this part of the land of Canaan, if you will, was taken away, or I should say, was conquered first. You know what I'm saying? These were the first land allotments. You know what I'm saying, that were actually conquered during the time of Joshua. You know what I'm saying? East Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, you know what I'm saying? These were all conquered first. And then we passed over the Jordan River and finished, conquering the all the way to the West Coast, to the Mediterranean Sea, if you will. But anyway, going back to the scripture, Judges 12:5, right? It says, and the Gileadites took the passages of Jordan, passages of Jordan before the Ephraimites. Okay, meaning, so basically they won, right? The Gileadites, they triumphed over the Ephraimites, right? And the passages of Jordan, meaning like different places where people would cross over the Jordan River. Certain places they wouldn't cross over, other places they would, maybe where it was more shallow or whatever the case was, where the shortest point between two cities or whatever. Different passages. It mentioned that even with the Moabites, when the Moabites had lost the war to us. I'm trying to remember the name of that judge, but basically the Moabites had passages. So whoever was in rulership at that time, they will have control over the passages of this area of the Jordan River. Okay. Going back here, it says in the middle of verse 5, it says, and it was so that when those Ephraimites which were escaped said, let me go over, meaning the Ephraimites that maybe was on the east side wanted to go back over to the west side of the Jordan River, okay, and they would come across the Gileadites who was in control. It says, when those Ephraimites which were escaped said, "Let me go over," that the men of Gilead said unto him, "Art thou an Ephraimite?" And if he said, "Nay," then they would say unto him, "Say now, Shibboleth." And he said, "Sibboleth," for he could not frame to pronounce it right. So going into this, basically, it was a time period where, obviously Ephraim, they had lost that skirmish that they had against the Gileadites, and pretty much as a punishment, saying any strangler, Ephraimite that was trying to cross the Jordan River, when the Gileadites saw, that man, and they asked him, "Yo, hey, what tribe you from? Are you from Ephraim?" And if that dude lied and tried to lie and say, nah, I'm not from Ephraim, but he, what they would do, what the Gileadites would do was have him say a specific word in the Hebrew, okay, which is Shabbalath. Okay, that's the correct pronunciation. Strong's H7641, Shabbalath. Okay, basically going into a stream, a flowing stream, as you can see here, flowing stream, water, basically like a branch or a channel or a leg. Okay, that's like the derivative, flowing stream. You can see the root word here, shabal, which says leg, flowing skirt, train. But anyway,
and you could take this scenario and fast forward to today. Shibboleth versus Sibboleth. The way you say it is going to determine who you are.
Yeah.
So when we ask you what's the name of the Lord, if you say Most High Christ blessed, we ain't fucking with you. If you say it's Ahaya Ba'Shem Yeshaya, we ain't fucking with you. Okay? If it's Yahweh, Yeshua, we not fucking with you. You see? And that's only the beginning of trying the spirit by the spirit. Because it's also said that some people that's going to say Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, that ain't going to be shit either.
Man.
So what you get from this spiritually is when it comes to a certain point in time, you're going to have to be on point. And matter of fact, try the spirit real quick.
Oh yeah, Con.
Trying the spirit. This is a form of trying the spirit. And if you're not on point, you're going to have to deal with the circumstances. You're going to have to deal with the consequences. Go ahead.
Yep, this is 1 John 4:1. It says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit."
You see that? Believe not every spirit. So, based on this scenario we're dealing with in this chapter, Shibboleth or Sibboleth. If you don't say it right, antennas go up.
Man.
Go ahead.
Con. It says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the Most High, because many."
So when you come with that Most High Christ blessed, we already know. Oh hell no! Oh hell no! These dudes been warned numerous times.
Yeah.
Ahaya Ba'Shem Yeshaya. Oh no! Yeah. And then even the ones that say Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, that might get you to a certain point, but the scopeo is on your ass, Jack.
Man.
Go ahead.
Con. Yep. It says, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. So that lets you know. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we get on, because we use the terms Most High. We don't say Christ, because it's really it's so cringe, because we know the history that Esau used, the history of how Esau used, Jesus Christ as basically a God to pedestalize himself, you know what I'm saying, and push that plantation Christianity and iconoclasm doctrine, you know what I'm saying, that our people still are drunken off of. So, the Most High and Christ blessed, group IUIC, that's their salute. They don't even teach you how about Hashem Yahweh Shai. They don't teach you the real name. They say we're not gonna get the real Hebrew to the kingdom. They say a whole bunch of stuff.
Now look at ISUPK. Look at ISUPK and Sakari. They use the names Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. but their doctrine is off. So you might get to a certain extent with using the name, but then you still gonna be examining out the doctrine.
Yeah.
You see, so that's how you're able to correlate what we're reading as far as the Judges up to today.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Yep. You want me to keep
Read
going on that, or I can
read the next 2 verses.
Okay. First John chapter 4, verse 2. Hereby know ye the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.
Now look up that word "know."
Okay. All right. This is the word. Yep. That's the word "know." Strong's G1097. Gnostico. Excuse me. Genosco. Genoseko. Something like that. Genosco. I think it's Genosco. Genosco. Yep. Yeah. Could you hear that?
Nah.
Okay. It played in my headphones, but yeah, I pronounced it Genosco. It's Genosco. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yep. All right. So it says to know, perceive, understand, to learn, to know, to come to know.
That's what I'm saying.
Knowledge.
To understand, to perceive, have a knowledge of. If you don't have a name, if you don't have the name, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and an understanding of what comes with it, we not fucking with you.
Mm-hmm.
You hating on your brother. Fuck that nigga. It is what it is. We coming to a time where shalom ain't just gonna get you through the door. Same thing was going on back then. That's why I wanted to flush that out with the whole Sibboleth versus Shibboleth. We can go back now.
Yep. It says to find a sign in a thing by which to know, to recognize or something.
That's what I'm saying. We recognize that you're not of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, so we're not finna let you in here.
Yep. You ain't got the password, you can't get in.
That's what I'm saying. Simple as that.
All right. Okay, so you want me to go back to this here in Judges?
Yeah, we can go back to Judges now. I just want to flush that point out because this is what they was doing.
Yep. So I'll read this again. This is Judges 12:6. It says, then said they unto him, say now Shibboleth, and he said Sibboleth, for he could not frame to pronounce it right. It kind of reminds me of people that have a lisp. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, certain people that have a lisp, like they can't really say the S properly. They might say it like, you know what I'm saying, differently. So that kind of reminds me of that. But it's like backward, like a reverse.
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. You can have a lisp and still be sincere. So you know what I'm saying? It's all about learning to be judges, and it's way more to it. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Yeah. It could have just been how that specific tribe pronounced that word. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go into the word Sibboleth, you know what I'm saying, it's the same. It means the same thing, but it's just a different different word. You know what I'm saying? Sabalath. You know, they said Sabalath instead of Shabalath, but it pretty much means the same thing. You know, when you go into the root word. But anyway, continuing on in the middle of verse 6, it says, for he could not frame to pronounce it right. Then they took him and slew him at the passages of Jordan. And there fell at that time of the Ephraimites 40 and 2,000.
That's what I'm saying. So look at all that death and destruction based off that pronunciation of that word. That's how serious that's how serious it was. That's how serious the times were back then.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and that's the seriousness of those times are gonna manifest themselves today. You know what I'm saying? So Sibboleth versus Shibboleth is gonna be, hey, what's the name of the Lord? You know what I'm saying? If you do happen to know the name of the Lord, we still gonna be examining you, because the Spirit of the Lord is gonna weed you out. Either way, you got it.
Yep. All right. It says, verse 7. It says, and Jephthah judged Israel 6 years. Then died Jephthah the Gileadite and was buried in one of the cities of Gilead. Right? It says, verse 8, and after him, Ibzan of Bethlehem judged Israel. Okay, and he had 30 sons and 30 daughters, whom he sent abroad, and took in 30 daughters from abroad for his sons. And he judged Israel 7 years. So the for his sons, he got different he got different wives for him from different places. It says in verse 10, then died Ibzan and was buried at Bethlehem. So it doesn't really talk too much about it, you know what I'm saying? But it talks about how he judged Israel for 7 years after Jephthah. And if you have 30 sons, by
Which
the
also
way,
lets you know. Go ahead.
my bad. If somebody has that many children, 60 children, you have to have a lot of substance. That's what all the point I was gonna make.
Yep. And it also lets you know that the scriptures are abridged.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it goes through all these judges, but it's hitting the main points on the ones. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's not that you have a lesser role because the Lord didn't write everything about you.
Right.
You see, so you got those hidden prophets, and you got the books that we got, and then you got other men that did works that's not documented like that. You see, it mentions their names, but it don't go through their history. But it does show you that the Lord was dealing with them enough to judge Israel. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So brothers that want to be important and all, look, the Lord is dealing the way He gonna deal. You see, you might not be written about it till earlier, but you telling me that these judges of Israel, you telling me that the Lord didn't use these men? Moses abridged the story of the creation. Judges is abridging all the different judges that lived during this time frame. But the Lord was dealing with all of them in His own way. Go ahead.
Yep, same thing in these times. You know what I'm saying? Certain, it may be certain 6-month time period span where it's like kind of, there's always stuff going on, but certain times where it's like not as much going on versus, 2020 was a very eventful year. A lot of prophecy going on, but it's like these times everything's speeding up. You know what I'm saying? Really, there's always something to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But I know listening to like Elder Ariala when he does his the algorithm videos, you know what I mean? And he looks back on the years when he was doing them and how things progress over time. Certain time periods are more eventful than others. So it says verse 11, and after him Elon, a Zebulunite, judged Israel, and he judged Israel 10 years. And Elon the Zebulunite died and was buried in Aijalon in the country of Zebulun.
Also, it tell you that the Lord picked them to be a judge. It tell you that they died. That's it. You see? Now it's going through this list. How many judges is that? We in chapter 12. We up to about what, 12 judges by now?
Yeah, because Jephthah was the 9th judge, so that's 10, 11, and then this will be the 12th one right here.
Okay, and it's been different tribes. Go ahead.
Verse 13, and after him, Abdon, the son of Hillel, a Parathonite, judged Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 nephews that rode on 70 ass colts, and he judged Israel 8 years.
Judge after judge after judge. So it's keeping up with the theme, but it's abridged. You see? So you telling me that in 8 years of judgment for this guy, however many years to judge before him? Yep. I'm pretty sure you can come up with some story or some info and some footage.
Oh, right? Oh yeah, and these men are back too. You know what I'm saying? Like, these men that got mentioned one time, 2 verses in the whole scripture. You know what I'm saying?
Just like every Yahshua will say, don't nobody want to be Elon the Zebulunite.
Man, that you took the words out of my mouth.
Don't nobody
Yeah.
never want to be him. It's
Yep.
always King David. Go ahead.
Man, bro. I was just thinking about that. You don't nobody want to be Iddo the prophet. Nobody want to be Nathan. I mean, like damn. But anyway, it says
Don't nobody want to be Ibzan. He didn't rule long enough. Ah, whatever,
man.
man.
Who who's that?
You
You
got it.
know? Khan. All right. It says verse 15, and Abdon the son of Hiliel, the Parathonite died and was buried in Pirathon in the land of Ephraim in the mount of the Amalekites. So those are three judges right there, which was 8 years, 10, and 7. So that's what, 25-year period, you know what I'm saying,
Three
that happened,
judges.
yep, after 25 years after Jephthah died, you know what I'm saying. Basically you have the introduction of chapter 13
Now
when
it's the same theme. It's the same thing. Let me say this. It's the same theme. You see? Now, we got an option. We can go ahead and cut it now, go to the comment board, see if it's some precepts, and then jump into chapter 13 next time, Lord willing. You know what I'm saying? Because this the takeaway from this chapter, is that the theme continued. Even though these judges, it doesn't go in depth on them, they still listed. Matter of fact, go to them hidden prophets.
okay.
It's a
Wait,
scripture.
are you talking?
Obadiah hid like 100 prophets. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, I know
Which
you're
which
talking about.
goes which goes into Yahweh Shai having 84 disciples versus 12. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of men that did the work. You
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
but
that's a
they
good
not
point.
mentioned like that. You see, so at least the Lord mentioned these judges' names. It just doesn't go in depth on their history. You see, so what I take away from that through the Spirit is like, look, bro, just do the work to the best of your ability. The Lord will take care of everything else. Because when you get to Second Ezra chapter 2, where it talk about those that stood so stiffly, these men are on that roster. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's a
Yep.
faith booster to where even though you're doing the work and you don't feel like you're getting no credit, you understand that your body, you don't own your body no more. You are covered by the blood, whether your name is mentioned or not, but you're doing the work. You see, so now this is turning into more of a faith building lesson for brothers that might be struggling in the world. Well, I only get 2 views, or ain't nobody watching my video. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Go
Yep.
ahead.
Yep. This is First Kings chapter 18 and verse 3. All right. It says, and Ahab called Obadiah, which Ahab was the king of Judea of that at that time. It says Ahab called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared Yahweh Shem Yahushai greatly, for it was so when Jezebel cut off the prophets of the Lord that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by 50 in a cave and fed them with bread and water.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's what he was talking about, right? The scripture
Yep,
you're
that's
talking
what
about.
I'm talking about, and
Yep.
and, and that just goes to show you. If you was rolling with Obadiah, you know what I'm saying, and he was dealing with you like that, that means you was one of those prophets that was doing the work. He hid them to protect them so they can do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You see, so
Yep.
brothers that struggling, so brothers that's struggling with that notoriety syndrome. Like,
Mm-hmm.
bro, just do your job. The Lord,
Yeah,
you see,
because Salakia, even
you good.
when you go to like the end of First Kings when Elijah, he knew that he was getting called up. Or no, actually, I think that's the beginning of Second Kings. Ain't that Second Kings chapter 2? Let me see something. Second Kings. Basically, he was going through Elijah was going through, yeah, the land. Is it it might be chapter 3, maybe when he gets caught up. Here we go. What just happened? Second Kings chapter 2 and 1. Okay, yeah. Second Kings chapter 2. That's what it was. Second Kings chapter 2 when he got caught up. And basically, here we go. Verse 3. Second Kings chapter 2 and And verse 2, it says, and Elijah said unto Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for the Lord hath sent me to Bethel. And Elisha said unto him, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Bethel, right? And it says, and the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel came forth to Elijah and said unto him, to Elisha, and said unto him, knowest thou that the Lord will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. So it says the sons of the prophets, there was, a group of individuals, at Bethel that was there, that was on the scene. Even another example, when Saul was we went down when he got anointed, pretty much the king and everything, and then he the spirit of the Lord jumped on him, and he went and prophesied with the prophets. You know what I mean? But those men weren't, their specific names wasn't mentioned, because like you got to think about how big Israel was. It wasn't just 4 or 5 prophets on the scene at a time. Like it was prophets, like how we got camps. You know what I'm saying? We got camps in every. I mean, not every single city, but I mean, shit, I don't know how many camps we got, but it's pretty much a camp in every major city. Pretty sure there's a camp in every city
It's a
with,
remnant. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And for those cities that don't have a prophet there, you got the unicorn, you got the internet.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we always used to talk about, well, we still do talk about. It's some brothers out there that's doing the work that don't have no camera.
Man,
You know what I'm
other country,
saying?
yeah, gone, man, damn, for real,
And I had no idea that through the spirit that this lesson was gonna go that way, but now it's turned into an exhortation.
yeah,
You
that's
know.
heavy.
So if you got any if it's any exhortation scriptures on the comment board, we can get those. But yeah, man, you got brothers that actually struggle with views and all that thing, all those different things. But the Lord is working, man. You know. Go ahead.
Yep, I'm going through this. Let's see. Okay, yeah. I was reading through that example in Second Kings. You know what I'm saying? But that was the point I wanted to make in Second Kings. How they were sons of the prophets that were there. You know what I'm saying? And then even when you rewind back to First Kings, you know what I'm saying, when Elisha, I think it might be in the same chapter, or maybe the chapter before or the chapter after, you know what I'm saying, where the Lord, sent the angel to Elijah, you know what I'm saying, to give him that strength, to go um to the mountain of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Elijah was like, shoot, you know, Ahab and Jezebel, they done slew all the prophets, and I'm the only prophet left. You know what I'm saying? And the Most High was like, nah, I've preserved 7,000 men that have not, bent the knee, that have not bowed to Baal.
Yep. And
You know
then
what I'm
also
saying?
the Lord told us He's not gonna forget our works. The Lord ain't gonna forget your labor of love. Get that right quick, Baba
Ooh,
Shop.
yeah, kind of. The Hebrews, yep, labor of love. Yep, labor of love. Let me get this. I forgot. That's a good one too. All right. Yep, Hebrews 6:10. It says, for Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. So the Most High is not gonna forget, man. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna forget all the lessons that you've done. Like if your page, got deleted, and now you got to start from zero. What's the name, man? You know how many times the apostles and elders and got pages deleted. You know how many camps there was before YouTube. You know what I'm saying? That the Lord, I mean, shoot, the elder Yaquab, high priest Yaquab, high priest Ariah, elder Yaquab, you know what I'm saying? King Mashal, they didn't have YouTube channels. Now, of course, they had certain videos that they recorded, but a lot of the classes and stuff, they didn't record. They wasn't able to record everything. You know what I'm saying? But that was still work that was been done. You
Right.
know, another precept come to mind. Um, Revelation 14, and
They works do follow them. Yep.
that's it.
13.
That's it. Yep. Revelation 14 and 13. Right. It says, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, right, blessed are the dead which die in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai from henceforth. You see that? So, man, you know what? That's super heavy, man. Because it's talking about at this specific time, I should say, that this was written, around what, 90 AD. It said, blessed are the dead which die in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai from henceforth. So from 90 AD, and of course, really, it's always been like that. You know what I'm saying? There was individuals that died in the
Nothing
Lord
new
through
under
the
the
Spirit.
sun.
Say again.
Nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. Individuals that died, in the Spirit of the Lord, with hopes of, greater promises. But now that the Yahweh Shai has made a sacrifice, hey, whether whether it's seen, by 100,000 people or by 2 people, what I'm saying, the most important part is that it's seen by the Lord. When it comes to doing the work, right? It says, yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. See that? So, man, at this point now, what I'm saying, the times that we're in, hey, this is the last lifetime, man. We believe that this is the last lifetime that we're going to have to be doing this work. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the prophecies and you seeing the signs of the times, man, Yahweh Shai is right there, right around the corner, man. The return of Yahweh Shai is right there.
I pray to the Lord. I pray to the Lord that you don't have to be my age.
Man.
But at the same time, if you do end up being my age and we still here, the Lord has prepped us for the end still.
Con.
You know what I'm saying? So whether it's tomorrow or another whatever, we pray to stay in this thing, man, because they say he didn't do it to the end.
Yep, that's right. That's right.
And all those works that's following us is from those past lifetimes up until now. Because every generation that's spoken of in the Bible, there was a remnant for that particular generation.
Con.
That's
right. Yep. So that was the main one. That was that I wanted to get. You know what I'm saying? The main couple scriptures that came to mind. I looked on the comment board. See, brother posted some. You know what I'm saying? But these are kind of
that's all good. That's a pretty good place to cut it off. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to beat a dead horse. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we still in the book of Judges. The judges are still is a high turnover rate with the judges. You see?
Yep.
But all those men that did those works, they stood stiffly in that particular time. So the Lord was dealing with them at that time. You see? Yep. And just because your name ain't mentioned don't mean that your works are not accounted for. Okay? You can close us out.
Con, yep. So Lord willing, Abaratazah, that was an edifying lesson. With that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostle, and that was a great millstone. And peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.